Okay, I might be live, but I won't know until I get right here. Yes, I am live. Okay, all right, Mike Caton from acemethodcoaching, and this is my weekly show where I review 5 of the videos that have been sent to me this week for free help. In case you missed it, I missed last week because I was traveling. So I'm going to do 2 weeks worth. I'm going to do 10 videos here today. It's going to be kind of rigorous to get through, but I'm going to do it. Some things to know. This is something that I do as a business at acemethodcoaching.com. In fact, I do more and more of this all the time. This idea of online coaching is starting to catch on, and I'm pretty busy as people are sending me videos and paying for me to do a really in-depth analysis of them and give them advice, much more detailed than I'm doing here today. But I like to help out, and I know that a lot of young athletes are money's tight, so I try to help that I can, and I choose 5 each week to do for free. Something to know though, part of how I choose them is looking at the quality of the video and thinking, is this something that I can use for my marketing? When I say my marketing, I might use it to make a YouTube video out of it, to show a piece of it on a YouTube video, or I might use it to chop up into short videos and to put on my social media to promote my coaching service. So just know that that's the way this works. So sometimes I get videos. By the way, I want to help everybody. I just can't help everybody. There's just not enough time in the day to live a life and to answer all the questions that I get on a given day or week. So that's the reason why I just choose 5. I was going to say something about that. So anyway, the quality of the video is really important. So if it's grainy, I'm going to choose another one. If it has people in front of you and I can't really see you because or the camera's moving around, or you're in a race with a bunch of people and it's a bad angle, I probably am not going to choose it, because there's going to be better ones that make for good quality of me, because it's a little bit selfish. I mean, I'm giving you help, but in return you're helping me by letting me use your videos for however I want to. So good quality video really helps. Keep that in mind. Okay, I am going to jump into it. Here's the 10 videos that I'm going to do today. They are Jean, I think that's how you would say your name, Andre, Zayden, Jaylin, Jaden, Adriana or Adriana, I don't know how you say your name, Kaiser, Amadou, Idris and Nafyad. Okay, so those are the ones that I'm going to do. I'm going to go in that order, and I'm going to jump over to that. I realize all this time I've been talking with the wrong screen, but it's okay. Here I am. Let me it's not what I wanted. Okay, where was I? Jean. Okay, so Jean is an 11th grader, 3rd year of hurdling, wants to know how to stay lower. Here he is training in a really, really nice indoor facility. Be the envy of a lot of people. Okay, not bad at all. You look like you know what you're doing. Easily 3-stepping those hurdles. Okay, but you wanted to know how to stay lower, and I've got some advice for you. Okay, first thing about staying lower is this last step going into the hurdle. So if you notice on your other steps, you weren't reaching as far, and when it touched down, see where it is? It's underneath your body with your knee bent. Your other steps were like that too. But what you're doing is on your last step, you're sending it in front of your center of mass, right here, way out in front of you. So that partly puts it out in front of you and it causes you to go too high. That's one thing. The other is just overall being committed and believing that you can go straight at that hurdle, and you're not doing that. I can see that you're jumping up a little bit. I mean, I can just look how high your knee and your feet are and your leg is. So you went forward and up, right? It's not like you went at a 45-degree angle, but it was a bit too much. So that's causing you to be too low. It's those two very simple things. Had you done everything you're doing, but instead of driving up, see, you can see that it's driving up. Now you just went a little more forward, continued this movement this way, it would have made a big difference. The other thing, you didn't ask for this, but I'm letting you know, you're sticking both arms out in front of you, and you're also leaning over to the left. And so that's going to cause you to be a bit off balance when you land, and it's going to decrease your speed, which is going to affect all the other hurdles after that. Okay? So I hope that helped. Moving on to Andre. So Andre is a senior in high school, but his first year hurdling, and struggles with his trail leg. And here is the best. Andre sent 3 videos, but this is the best one. Like, in order to see him, you look like you can run pretty well, Andre. But here's what I want you to see. One thing is, you also see the way this step landed like this. This is the way it should look. And then this step, you stuck it out in front of you. So you put the brakes on a little bit. Number one, that slows you down. The other thing is, as you slow down, you are inevitably going to have to jump higher to compensate for the speed loss that you have. Okay? Because if you slow down and jump straight, you're just going to drop down. But if you go fast and go straight, you'll keep going, right? Newton's first law of motion. Okay? So I want to keep that in mind. You're also see how your knee doesn't bend enough? And you're lifting with a 90-degree leg and a straight leg. You need to keep that knee bent tighter. Your heel should be tucked up right here. And then when you drive it, you just drive it forward at the top of this hurdle. Okay? Here you go, here you go, here you go. And then here is, like, this looks pretty good right here, right? But you're worried about this, how it ends up so high, and it's just way, way, way up there. And then when you do touch down right here, it's still very, very high. And you're also still very bent over, okay? So it starts right here, because this is good position, but it's just how much you're rotating your hip right here to bring your leg up. So I want you to notice, we're going to learn this together, because I'm going to show you some other video. In fact, I'm going to do something that I've never done on a live show. I do this kind of thing often when I'm helping somebody, but I never do it on a live show. Let's do it. So those of you who are watching this, you go, oh, this is cool. I want him to do this for me. I would love to do this for you. So just do a virtual coaching session with me. Okay, so come on. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to compare you to the big boys. Unfortunately, these guys all have their trail leg on their left side because they're all right leg leads. But I want you to notice, we'll take this guy in front of us. So right now, as his butt is right on top of the hurdle, his left knee is right on top of the hurdle also. And then as he comes forward, he's coming down on the hurdle. Let's watch what his knee does. It's kind of going forward, forward, forward. So it's not really raising very much. It's just not dropping. You follow me, right? His hips are dropping. His lead leg is dropping. But his knee is going forward, almost straight forward. It comes up a little bit. And then when he touches down here, boom, he's down on his toe. He's not fully straight up, but by the time his heel comes down right here, you can draw a line from his heel right up to his hip right here. And he's bent over a bit, but not fully. And his knee is basically at the same height that it was as it went over the hurdle. And then he drives it down quickly here underneath him. Now, if we look at you, let me zoom in a little bit. So here you are, looking good. And basically what should happen is you come down on this hurdle, your body goes down, your lead leg goes down, but your knee stays at this height, maybe comes up a little bit. But yours is rising, 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 rising. So you just rotated your trail leg too much, right? And then so here you are landing here on your toe. I'm going to get him back to here. So this is the way he looked. So he has his knee here. Yours is too high towards your chest. Plus you're more bent over than he is. But his heel is back behind his knee, and your heel is in front of your knee. And then when he drops to his heel here, and you drop to your heel here, notice he's taller than you. I mean, more upright. His leg is here, ready to push straight down, and yours is going out. I had another boy that I coached for a long time. In fact, he's featured on a lot of my videos. He was a state champion in Colorado. He, not as dramatic as you, but he would do that also. So you're probably wondering, okay, I get it, but now how do I fix it? The way you fix all these technical things is you go back to the beginning and you learn how to move that, in your case, your trail leg, while you're not moving. Like isolate it on a wall drill and get it moving perfectly. And then when you go, okay, now I can do it while I stand in place, then you go and you walk over hurdles, moving it perfectly. And once you can get that, then you start doing skipping drills with your trail leg over the hurdles, really focusing on moving it perfect. And when you go to skipping speed, then you go to jogging over hurdles, just your trail leg, moving it perfectly. And when you can do it at jogging speed, then you go at running speed, slow, medium, fast. And then you can bridge up to going full speed, and it'll be really good. So there's a lot of stuff there. I hope that helped. I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to go to Zaden, and Zaden would also benefit from this. Oh, darn it. I meant to switch the other one. I don't know if I could do this. Nope. Okay. Give me 1 second. I think this is going to be worth it. Hopefully you guys are watching going, oh, this is cool. I want to see more of this. Okay, so if you do, let me know. And by the way, if while you're watching this, if you have a question, leave a question. I'll get to it when I'm done. I need to open up Zaden. Dang it, why is it doing that? Okay, here's Zaden. And let me split screen Zaden because I'm going to say some things about you too, Zaden, that in case you're going, does this guy know what he's talking about? I'll show you. Okay, so Zayden here is, let's see here, 11th grade, 3rd year, lane 4 in the red jersey. He got 3rd at state last year, whatever state he's in, and he wants to win it. So he's smart and he's reaching out, going, show me what I need to do to get better with my technique. And I got something. I mean, you're good, no doubt about it. I mean, you were a state finalist last year. But you, where's my mouse? You got a few things that I can help you with. Okay. Come on. I'm overwhelming the RAM on my computer. I keep saying I'm getting a new one. I just don't want to bite the bullet yet, because it's just going to mean transferring videos and stuff, and I just don't feel like doing that. I'm going to try to do it in the summer. I'm too busy in the middle of track season. Okay, I'm going to wait till you get right closer. Okay, so this should be good. First thing is, just like Andre, you're lifting a knee that doesn't bend enough. So you need to tuck your lead leg Let me get these guys to the next hurdle. Oh, you know what I could have done on Andre? I could have showed him this guy here to see what I mean about the knee. Okay, but anyway, so we'll look at this guy. This guy's, he's a Frenchman. He's got very good technique. And compare him. So notice that all these guys have their heel of their lead leg up by their butt, right? And then they extend it as they come. And then by the time they get to the hurdle and their heel is right at the hurdle, really close, they have either a straight leg or a near straight leg, okay? Also, look at the lean of their body, right? Here's your heel here. So not bad at all. I do think your right arm should be bent a little more. But I notice how far away you are from this hurdle. I mean, you're really far. I think what's happening is you are, here when your heel is at the hurdle, you're still on your way up. You're still ascending. And you're reaching the top of your jump right here with your butt or your hips on top of the hurdle. Whereas when you look at elite hurdlers, they're reaching the top right here with their butt on the front side of the hurdle, and then they drop down on the hurdle. And then notice how close they're touching down on this side of the hurdle versus you still on your way up and then floating, and then you end up really far. So one thing you can do is take off from a little farther away, drive more at the hurdle versus up. And then when you start to come off that hurdle and you start to bring your trail arm forward, pull your hip with it so that when you touch down here, just like them, you're more upright. See how you're sitting back a little bit? You want to change that. And then right here, when you go down to your heel, you see how aggressive this trail leg looks? Yours just sort of passively drops to the ground. Drop, boom. You want it to be a little more like this guy. I mean, he's got honestly a little better technique than you, but you're just faster than he is, okay? But it works. The other thing is, see how you're throwing your trail arm out to the side? You need to get it behind you, okay? So those are some little things. All right, I think I'm done with these guys. So that's my recommendation to you, Zayden. There's a few things. Okay, going to Jaylin. From Zaden to Jaylen to Jaden. My wife loves these names. Okay, so Jaylen is this guy right here in lane 1, 2, 3. He is in 11th grade, so junior in high school, 3rd year hurdling, and says he is reaching for the hurdles. In other words, I'm taking really big steps to reach the hurdles, and you can see it. And it gets worse as the race goes on, which is typical of people who have this problem. So he wants to know, how can he do it? How can he fix that? So let me tell you what. I'm going to be making a video about this soon, but it might not come out for weeks. But it comes down to this, because when I watch you, you look fast, you look aggressive, you look athletic, you look strong. So I'm surprised you're having this issue. So part of it is in your head, meaning you are thinking, I can't reach the next hurdle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these really long strides, as you called reaching for the hurdle, right here. See how far your knees are away? That's not the way it's supposed to look. I think this guy is your teammate here. I wonder if you guys were to run the 100 meters without hurdles in the way, would he still beat you? I'm curious about that. But notice when he's running, when his right foot touches down, his left knee is almost in the same spot. When his left knee touches down, his right knee is almost in the same spot. But when we look at you, when your right leg touches down, this guy's in the way, your knee's behind, and then especially on this one, when this leg touches down, see how it's way behind you? This is an example of somebody who's reaching out too far, who's getting too much backside heel recovery, and all that, even though you're thinking, this is what I need to do in order to reach the hurdle, the problem is they're not fast strides. And taking slower strides means less ground that you're covering per stride. So if you were to change your mindset and say, I'm just going to commit to going full speed and use my speed with a good stride to let it cover more ground naturally and faster, I can three-step. So that's really the way that it works, okay? But it does take some belief. It does take some, conditioning. So what I highly recommend that you do is when you practice, don't practice with the hurdles spaced out this far. Pinch them in, and in your case, I would probably, here's what I would do just to gain confidence. I would probably pinch them in 1.5 feet. When I say, I don't mean literally 18 inches. I mean, if it were me, I would go to hurdle number 2, and I would move it 1.5 of my foot. So I would step it off on the track. Put one foot down, put the next foot down, and go halfway there, and that's where I put the second hurdle. The third hurdle would be the same closeness, so that would be 3 feet spaces, then 4.5, and then 7. You see the pattern? And then fly over these with quick steps, landing on the balls of your feet, striking the ground underneath you, and get that rhythm down. Hopefully those hurdles will feel too close. and then you spread them out to 1 foot. And you get used to that. And when that feels too close, you spread it out to 1/2 of a foot. And you never go closer than that. In fact, in case you haven't heard me say this before, I've coached many state champions and many finalists, and I never let them practice at full spacing. Because by doing this, you're only teaching yourself to hurdle the way you hurdle. But if they can have good practices with good technique, learning how to do it properly, they have good practices, which leads to good racing. And then when they get to the meet, they have no problem doing the full spacing because they've learned how to do the hurdles properly. Trust me on this, it works. So that's what I would do. Because other than that, you look like you're doing fine. It's just coming down to the way you're running between the hurdles, okay? Okay, moving on to Jayden. Okay, Jayden is in 11th grade, 3rd year, losing speed and going too high. This video, small. So he's there in lane 8. There he is. Okay, not bad. See if we can figure out why Jaden is losing speed. That's a good stride. That's a good stride. Very good stride. That one is reaching out a bit, but not bad. For high school, that's not bad. But look at this. You can just see your momentum. If we just watch the way your body moves, see it's moving from right to left here, right? Moving horizontally. And then all of a sudden it just jumps up. Boom. So you are changing all of your momentum to go from going forward to going up. And that's why you're losing a lot of forward speed, because you're transitioning it into vertical speed, right? So you end up too high over the hurdle, shooting both your arms out like an eagle, soaring over the hurdle. So you're just too high. And yeah, you should have, right, like your heel is tucked in here nicely of your lead leg. Just drive your knee forward, not up, right? And then, so because you did that, you lost speed, and then now you're too high, and you are going to be a long time before you touch down. So you have to wait. And the whole time you're waiting, you actually do a good job of not over-rotating. But it would be so much better had you touched the ground right here, or here, versus waiting until here. You would have been back to running soon, and you look to me like you're fast. So I think this would, if you can make this change, it's fundamental. It's so fundamental that it feels like, really, coach, that's all the advice you have for me, is to just don't jump up. Yeah. Because if you can change that thing, it'll be dramatic for you, because you actually look like you have all the other tools, but you just keep messing it up by jumping up every time over the hurdle. So in case if it's a confidence issue of thinking, I don't want to crash into this hurdle, well, let's look at a few things. One is you seem to have good flexibility of your hamstring because you can straighten out your leg. The other is your trail leg is out to the side, so that's not an issue. So there's nothing keeping you from going lower over this hurdle. So what I would do is I would either order, in fact, I'm becoming a believer in this idea, like, is getting those foam toppers to put on the crossbar here. So you lower the hurdle down, you put those on, so it adds, like 3 to 6 inches of foam on top of the hurdle, and that way you can try to skim it, and it's not going to hurt you. I'm going to look into those. That's my new commitment. It makes total sense. Okay, where's my mouse? There it is. Okay, So that's what you need to do, because I think you are one trick away from being really good. Okay, moving on to our one female of the day. I don't know why more girls don't send me their videos. I think that they're too shy to have me look at their video on here and then possibly use it in my social media. But I'm always nice. Well, sort of. Anyway, Adriana. I hope that I'm pronouncing it right. But I love the color of your track and the quality of this video. It's the main reason I chose this video. Okay, so she is 10th grader, first year hurdling, doing a pretty good job at it. Has a problem with twisting her body over the hurdle when she lands, and she loses momentum. So let's see it in full speed. Exactly. You described it perfectly. Okay, I want to see something. I think you're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so in case you don't know it, ideally you're taking 8 steps to the first hurdle, but if you can't, then 9 is okay. It gives me a clue, though, in understanding what your abilities are, okay? Because, come on. Because if you're taking 9 steps and none of those 9 steps looked like they were choppy steps, then that just tells me that you, how do I say this? You don't have a whole lot of speed. Otherwise, you'd be chopping to get 9 steps. And the fact that you look really comfortable with 4 steps between the hurdle tells me that this is probably about right for you. 9 steps and then 4 steps, okay? So keep that up. A lot of times I'm having to talk people out of it, but in your case, I think it's probably pretty good. So let's figure out why you're getting twisted up. Okay, one thing to keep in mind here, notice that when your foot comes down, that you are leaning back, okay? So this is really putting on the brakes, big time. Not only is your leg out in front of you, but you're actually leaning back like you'd fall. You don't want that, okay? So basically the way you did your other 2 steps, like watch this. When you step down here, notice how you look. Your foot is underneath you. It's not in front of you, and you're not leaning back. This is the way you want to look right over here when you go over the hurdle. And then when you go to your left leg, same thing. And then now when you go to your last step, you did this. Okay? So this is putting on the brakes. And all the speed that you built up there, you're now giving it up, and it's pushed into the ground here, and that's a problem. You need to get it like the other steps and then jump forward, don't jump up. And then see how you are going up a bit, because right here, where your heel is on top of the hurdle, is about where you should be when you reach the top of your jump, and then you want to start coming down on the hurdle, but you're still going up, and you're not reaching the top of your jump until about right here, where your hips are on top of the hurdle. Okay? So full speed at the hurdle, jump forward, not up, so you can come down on the hurdle. Okay, so let's continue on. Oh, here's another thing. And this is contributing to why you're off balance. Is that you, come on. This video is so good that quality-wise, that my computer is dragging. Okay, so you're getting ready to jump over the hurdle, and you have both arms forward. At this point, you should have your right arm going forward and your left arm going more back, and you're holding your left arm forward and then to the side. It never goes behind you. At this point, your elbow should have been well behind you, and I should see it really well. That's messing you up. okay? Because your upper body always has to be opposite of your lower body, just like when you walk. Right leg goes forward, left arm goes forward, and opposite. You do the same thing when you're hurdling. And those are the things that are messing you up, okay? That'll solve your thing. Okay, moving on to Kyzer. Kyzer is a 5th grader, probably the youngest person ever to send me a video to do on this show. I've done some privately in virtual sessions with their parents, but never like this. He's a little guy. Here he is, the little guy in the middle of the track. So let's play it at regular speed. Wait. And probably one of the only people ever that I've had on here, probably the only one ever, where I think 5 steps is probably best for you. Because I'm always saying never do 5 steps. But in your case, because of your size, 5 steps might be right. But as soon as you get better at this, you need to transition into 4 steps. And once again, I cannot, there it is. I can't find my mouse. Okay, so let's go back. Kyzer is saying he needs to work on his speed, endurance, and attacking the hurdle. I love that a 5th grader is telling me he wants to get better at attacking the hurdle. So you seem like somebody who has been watching some videos because you know too much. Okay. I'm going to pick you up right here as you come off of this hurdle and then see you in between hurdles and see you attack the next hurdle. Okay. So obviously too high. That's a big issue, but we'll figure out on the next hurdle why you're too high, but definitely too high. And then so because you're so high, we have to wait to finally come down. And you can see just overall the way your body is. This is not really what hurdling is supposed to be like. This is what jumping and landing looks like, right? So you jumped up and then you landed, boom, right? So, but you landed here, not bad form, but because of how high you were, let's see what happens here, watch. I want you to see something. I want you to notice that the first direction that your body's moving versus what should happen as soon as you touch down here, I should still see you rolling forward, horizontal. But anytime somebody jumps up as high as you do and they come down, come on, my mouse is disappearing again. Ugh. There it is. Okay, you can see that yours is down. Boom. See, you see how you dropped from here, this makes sense, to here, to sinking, and then now you're down low still, and you got to dig your way out of that hole. So now you jumped out of the hole right there. You can see it. That's a good step. That's a good step. You look athletic to me. That's a good step. That's a good step. Well, it's a bit out in front of you, but you're really young. Okay, so here's what you need to understand. When you're this close to a hurdle, there's only one way to go, and it's up, right? I just said, I've never said it that way before. I think I like that. Because otherwise you'd crash into the hurdle. So you have to jump up. And you can't just stop right here and then turn around and go down because you still have your jumping to do. I mean, only gravity can pull you down. It's not like you can just say, okay, now go down. You have to wait to reach the top of the jump, which you do, past the hurdle, and then you jump and you land. You go too high and you land too far away. So what you need to do, and this is where possibly taking 4 steps might work, or in your case, just realize I have to go over this hurdle a little bit farther away, because that way I can then stay lower over the hurdle. Okay? I have a video coming out tomorrow at, I think, 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern time, it's scheduled for, that talks about this very thing. And it goes into some detail about why that's important. But just know that's what you need to do. That's your main thing, because everything else is, well, I shouldn't say everything else is fine. The problem is that's so dramatic. But you see how you have both arms forward? We need to have your left arm forward and your right arm back. So that's also messing up your balance and your technique and your timing. Okay? So anyway, so try to back up about 6 inches. You know, see what that feels like, and run full speed and go lower at the hurdle. And I think you'll be much better off, and that will fix a lot of things, and then also get your arms moving. If you lead with your right leg, you lead with your left arm, and opposite. So that means left leg is back, right arm is back, and as you come down off the hurdle, they switch. Okay? All right, moving on to Amadu. If I can, my mouse is not moving. And it's not my mouse. It's the RAM on my computer and all these videos that I'm running. Okay, here we go. Amadou. Okay, so Amadou, I'm having a hard time believing this. The same thing about the next guy coming up, whose name is Idris, or yes, Idris. Both of them are telling me they're first-year hurdlers, but they're really, really good. I've never seen anybody be this good first-year hurdling. So here is Amadou. Come on. Sorry, I can't move my mouse over to the play button. I don't know why it gets worse as it goes on. Okay. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I only got 3 more people. Here we go. So he is, he's got a white jersey and a white arm sleeve. And I'm really intrigued about the location. Some big city. Okay. So obviously good. I mean, you just whooped everybody in this race. Fort Lee. Okay, I don't know where that is. Okay, so how to run, he wants to know how to run faster in this race. So obviously you're good. Let me just show you some things. Okay, this is really obvious to me right here. Well, I like your height over the hurdle. I like the way you maintain your horizontal speed, you know, as you're moving through the hurdle. This is really good. I mean, the way that you just dive into that hurdle is fantastic. This is a good example. I'll probably, or maybe use you for some example of that. It's really good. And your lead leg, although I think you could probably keep it a little straighter at this point, it unfurls really nicely. Okay, but here's something that needs to be better. It's your trail leg. See right here, your trail leg should have already been farther forward, rotated farther forward. And right here, it should be in front of your body to where I could just see your knee right here. And then as you come down, it should have already been here in front of your body and then ready to come down. But it's lagging behind. So your body's having to wait for your trail leg to come on through. So you need to, the way to fix that is to pull it through sooner. And maybe when we see you on the next hurdle, I'll be able to figure out what's wrong with the timing here, okay? But that hurdle, I mean, this touchdown here, for somebody as fast as you, is surprisingly stretched out. This is really stretched out. I don't understand it. Why you're so stretched. Okay, so I'm looking at, I know I'm being quiet here. Okay, so I'm just following this because it's not really obvious. Okay, I can see that your lead leg swings a little bit from the outside, so moving counterclockwise, which then means that in order to counter that with your upper body, you're going to have to swing your lead arm too far over to the right, swinging clockwise. See, you can see that here. So you got twisted up here, and then you have to untwist coming down, right? So I would say first, drive your lead leg more forward. Don't let it swing so, it's not bad, but it could be better. And then drive your lead arm forward, not up and around the way you are, okay? Now let's look at that trail leg. And then I want to talk about your running between the hurdles. So you push off here. Okay. So you see this? See how your knee dropped down and your heel went up? We never want to get in that position. So, but you want to pull it through a little sooner and pull it through pulling that knee up, right? So right here, this position that you have right here should have happened back here. This knee should be farther forward by then, and this heel should be dropped, and your lower leg should be parallel to the ground at this point. And as you come off the hurdle, it should do exactly what it's doing as far as how high it is. The problem is it's 2 clicks behind where it should be at this point. It should be in front of you, and your trail leg is still to the side of you, right? So that's your main thing, is your trail leg. But let's see if we can figure out why you're running with such heel recovery when you obviously are fast. Okay, because I don't know what your training is like. The same thing that I just told somebody before you is don't practice with your hurdles full spacing, because when you don't have the advantage of all the adrenaline like you do in a track meet to have you going fast, it makes the hurdles too far away. And so you're practicing with hurdles that are too stretched out, so you end up taking too long a strides at all your practices, so that's the way you race also. Pinch the hurdles in probably by a foot. Get used to what that feels like, because that's the way it feels in a track meet. Get your feet more underneath you, turn over quicker, less backside heel recovery, and I think you'll do really, really well. Okay? Because you're a super talent. I'm just fascinated by these apartment buildings here. I don't know where Fort Lee is. Is that Missouri? Anyway, okay, but that's it, Amadou. You're really good. Okay, moving on to, I'm going to say Idris, 10th grade, first year hurdling. I just have a hard time believing it. Just like with Amadou. You guys are too good for first year hurdlers. It doesn't make sense to me. You look like a long-time veteran. So let's check. I'm going to call you Idris. See, does that look like a first-year hurdler? I don't think so. That's a compliment to you, okay? And you're also training on dirt, I think. This is not the US. Okay, so you're good. You're really, really good. You're so good that I don't believe that you're only first year. Okay, so, but you are also running in just regular running shoes. So that's more credit to you. If you're hurdling this well, that's really good. And also running on concrete or dirt or packed dirt, I'm not sure. So that's really, really good. I mean, it's good that you're hurdling so well like this. And it also means that I probably need to adjust what I would normally say. Because if you were on a good track surface with spikes, things would look different. And I could talk more about foot strike and stuff like this. But there's definitely some reach in your steps. See? I mean, that's way too reached out for a sprinter. But maybe if you were on a track with spikes and a better surface, you'd be able to go do it differently. And also, I don't know what the spacing is. So if this spacing is official spacing and you're doing this right here, then I'm super impressed. So I think you're a big talent. Okay, I really do. But he says he needs help with his start and maintaining speed. So the maintaining speed part, like I said, has to do with your running between the hurdles. Well, partly. Because you're running with long strides, up on your heels, putting on the brakes. You want to get feet underneath you more, landing on the balls of your feet, turning over the legs quicker, and it's going to be difficult on this surface in those shoes. Okay? And again, if you practice like this, that's how you train your body to move. If you want to do it better, ideally, I don't know what your situation is. If this is all you have, then great. If you could once a week somehow get to a real track, put on some spikes and practice, that would benefit you a lot. Okay? I admire a lot what you've accomplished, where you've accomplished it. Your lead leg is fantastic. This is what I'm going to use you for an example. This is, I can't believe you're telling me your first year. I mean, this position right here, when you're on your toe or your toes coming off the ground and you're still driving your knee forward, look at that. This is perfect. That is the best lead leg I've seen in a long time. Just the angle of your body is fantastic. Okay? This is really, really good. So, by the way, Amadu, if you're still watching, notice that when Idris's foot is right here, his knee is already pulling forward to where it's in front of his hip, whereas yours, it was still behind you, okay? And also notice that right here, when Right here, he's got his lower leg parallel to the ground. And he comes down, close to the hurdle. This is really good. This is good. Very good form. Bam. This is really good. Man, you are good. I want you to reach out to me. I want to start a dialogue with you because I'm fascinated. I want to know if this is really your first year and how you got so good so fast. And then where you're from and let me help you is what I'm saying, okay? So reach out to me, okay? But my advice there, what I told you is what I would do. Okay, moving on to the last one. This is Nafyad, and this is the most cinematic video I've seen this week. I had the one 2 weeks ago in the stadium with all the colors, and that was really cool. This is also cool. Also obviously not the US. Amazing stadium with the rock seats, really low profile. It's really fascinating. Boom, 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 ouch, ouch, ouch. Man, you are crushing those hurdles like they're made of paper. Okay, so Nafyad, second year hurdling, didn't tell me his age or grade, but second year, struggling with speed between the hurdles and too much time in the air. And you're right, okay? Let me break this down. I see what you're doing. You're obviously either well coached or you've read some stuff or you watch a lot of videos. This is a pretty good step. Let me zoom in. This is a good step coming out of the hurdles. Extremely low heel recovery. I mean, it drags the ground. That's reminds me of Lolo Jones. Okay, I do think your first step might be a little too big because look, you have almost no second step. I mean, it touched down like almost in the same place as your first step. That doesn't look right. And then another big step and pretty good. Big reach there. Starting to now land in front of you on the heels. Front on the heels. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on. So one thing is, because you got some things looking like you're an elite guy, and then you have some things that are not. But so here, definitely reaching out in front of you when you weren't doing that on any of your steps. I mean, this last step, in fact, your last step should look probably more like this. Ideally, it would look more like this, but that's probably a bit much to ask. If not, try to get this. See how your shin is straight up and down? That's what we want right here, but it's way back, okay? This is giving up some speed. And then you're going over with really good extension on your plant leg. I like that. You're not going high. I can't tell from the camera angle if you're too close. I'll see on the second hurdle. But here's one thing. Your left arm is over your head. Some people like to do that. But you have your right arm, your trail arm out to the side. And we don't want that. That'll mess up your balance, okay? So swing it back behind you. It needs to swing more natural. I'm trying to figure out what is going on here because right here, your heel is on top of the hurdle. I'm just surprised that this leg is still hanging back here. So there's something going on with your trail leg. And then again, your trail arm. Trail leg, trail arm. And it's just too far behind you. Let me see. So now you're totally messed up. Man, Totally wipe that hurdle out. One. See, same thing. This big braking action. So it's losing speed. This is a great angle. Okay, this is good. I'm going to do another split screen, the second time today. Oh, darn it. Okay, let me do this. And then let me see if I can flip this image. Oh. I should have done mirror. And then the image, rotation. Come on, coach. I say no rotation. There we go. All right. And then this one is I'm going to go back to where you were. Oh my gosh. I guess I need to learn this software better. I thought it would put you over here. Let me get rid of this one. And then now, oh, this is even the wrong person. Okay. All right. And then two screens. Okay, what is going on? Okay, it's not working, but I do want to, I'm going to get better at this. I want to do this more often. I want to see something. I want to watch these guys first to see what, oh, that guy slipped. I'm going to go to the next hurdle. So notice that when their heel gets above the hurdle, where the trail leg is, it is bent 90 degrees straight out from the side. Now if I go to you, so I feel like I'm a detective here and I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with what you're doing. Okay, so here's your heel on top and your leg is still way back here. And when they get to there, they're right here with the trail leg. So okay, so basically here's what it is. It's a fraction of a second where you are delayed on pulling your trail leg through. You need to push off there, pull it through sooner so that right here, your trail leg is already rotated forward. Yours is dragging behind you, and that's what's hitting the hurdle, right? And then you, because you lost speed, you now have to take these big, long steps that are slow because you would never run the 100-meter dash like this. And then the same thing, boom, you push off really nicely, but then you just held that push off of this leg too long. You need to push off and then release, drive that trail leg forward really quickly, very powerfully. And now because you're so far away, you hit it with your lead leg. So it's just a bit of a disaster. You're no doubt have some talent here and you could be really good at this. But I think your issue is mostly your trail leg. So drive it off the ground, push hard off of it, but not for as long. And then pull it through quicker. It's going to change your timing and help keep your speed. The other thing is, and I've said this to at least 3 people here today, if you are practicing with this spacing, it's too long. It's too spread out. Never practice with full spacing. You know, you just don't have the energy and the adrenaline to do it like you can in a meet. So therefore you end up having to reach out. And if you reach out all the time in practice, that's what you're training yourself to do in a race. And it's a negative cycle. You need to train with them closer, get used to the quickness, get used to getting your feet underneath you. So therefore you can go into a race and do it also. Okay? Woo! 10 videos, and that was some energy. Okay? Let me bounce out here. Dante Rodney asks, do you review long hurdle races videos? Yes, I do. Send those in. Brock, I ran 1939 yesterday as a 9th grader hurdles. We're 39 inches and I feel like my hips are always turning when going over the hurdles. What could I do? Brock, that's one of those questions that is so much easier to answer when I'm looking at a video. So go to my website, acemethodcoaching.com, and you will see how to send me a video. If you want me to do a great job on it, sign up for a virtual training session. And then LY says, how can I send you my own video for review? Well, you do that by going to acemethodcoaching.com. Let me show you while we're at it. Wrong one.